we center ourselves for a time of worship with this poem by Lindsay Rush, adapted slightly, called How to Be a Person in the World. Let the sorrow of it all sink deep into your bones. But don't forget to finish the laundry and water the lawn and dry your eyes. Dream up a 5-year plan for your small business while picturing your baby doing a lockdown drill in his kindergarten classroom. Discover new music and laugh at new jokes and let creativity drip from each of your fingertips, but be mindful that you have neighbors who are starving and dying and fighting for the most basic of freedoms. Look up how much protein you should be eating and also what to do if you're in public with an active shooter. Get your moles checked, get your head checked, get a mammogram and a grip, and the new thriller book that everyone's been talking about on TikTok. But please, dear God, don't forget the oceans, the ozone layer, the rhinos, the emails. Try to grapple with the future of AI and the pending recession and the billionaires and the depth of division between you and so many people you love. It's undeniable that everyone, everywhere, is on the brink of losing their humanity and their empathy. But to be a person in the world is to do the impossible every day, simply by keeping your eyes open, simply by getting out of bed, simply by facing these incomprehensible horrors again and again without somehow abandoning your joy. So thank you. Thank each other for showing up here to spend an hour in community, centering our souls, savoring this earth, being human, practicing love.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Xiomara Rodriguez. My pronouns are she, her, and ella, and I'm honored to serve as your worship associate this morning. I welcome all of you here to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northern Nevada, where it is our mission to grow together in love, peace, justice, and joy. I'm going to make a stop right here because I want to thank Stephanie for bringing me some sand from home. I really appreciate it. You have no idea how much this means to me to have it in my house and to know that I still have something from my country in my hands. Thank you. Now that got that out, wasn't in the script. We are meeting on the ancestral lands of the Paiute, Shoshone, Washoe people who have cared for these lands for generations. We honor their enduring connections to this land and recognize the ongoing impact of colonialism, and we acknowledge that no one is illegal on stolen lands. Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, "The liberty of democracy is not safe if the people tolerate the growth of private power to a point where it becomes stronger than the democratic state itself. It is the essence of fascism, ownership of government by an individual, by a group, or a controlling private power." Henry A. Wallace said, "A fascist is one who has lost for money or power, is combined with such an intensity and tolerance towards those of other races, parties, classes, religious, culture, regions, or nations, as to make him ruthless in his use of disease of violence and attain his ends. And with all these words, I would like to welcome you all here today, here in the sanctuary, and my friends in Zoom. Hi, Zoom. We welcome you all, regardless of your racial identity, your age, your economic circumstances, your immigration status, sexual orientations, or gender ID. You are all welcome here. If this is your first time or your 150th time here, please remember that you are welcome. Please be respectful of the desires of people around you, masks, social distance, please. For those of you in Zoom, please stay after the service for coffee time. And no matter where you are in the service today, just feel welcome here. Now, how about if we take a couple minutes and we greet one another in whichever way is good for you. And do not forget, please, you know, the little prayer cards, the joys and sorrows, bring them forward so we could have them and share during the joys and sorrow times. Thank you.
How to survive the apocalypse. This is Reverend Parker Dennison. First, learn to listen, not only for enemies around corners in hidden places, but for the faint footsteps of hope and the whisper of resistance. Hone your skills, aim your heart towards kindness, and stockpile second chances under the weight of destruction. We will need the strong shelter of forgiveness and the deeper wells that give the sweet water of welcome. We have a place for you when the world ends. We must not add destruction to destruction, not accept a beggar's bargain, to fight death with more death in order to survive the apocalypse, any apocalypse at all. We have to give up the counterfeit currency of self-sufficiency, the mistaken addiction to competition, the lie that the last to die has somehow survived.
Good morning. Please rise in body or spirit and sing number 131, Love Will Guide Us, in the Gray Hymnal.
That was good ad-libbing there, y'all. On the 4th of July, 2026, the United States will celebrate the 250th anniversary of its independence from Great Britain. The celebration of this holiday has always been complicated and problematic because it rarely acknowledges that land was stolen, people were enslaved, and violence was perpetrated against humans, animals, and the earth in order to win freedom. Nevertheless, this is a milestone anniversary, and the Trump administration is ensuring that the marking of this day will be a celebration like no other. The White House has designed a website called America 250, which celebrates the president, encourages all citizens to participate in the 4th of July patriotic celebrations, and encapsulates the president's vision of our country. In preparation, Fox Media reports that a massive, record-breaking flag has been commissioned, that when unfurled by hundreds of patriots, will reach taller than New York City's Empire State Building, nearly half the size of the Pentagon, in what is called an extraordinary moment of national unity as a part of America 250. As part of this administration's pattern of retelling history, and in honor of the 250th celebrations, the White House, in partnership with Hillsdale College, a Christian liberal arts college, has released a series of educational videos about our history as a nation. As you would expect, the history is retold through partial truths and a glorification of white, cis, male Christianity and patriotic loyalty. Though there is nothing inherently wrong with a love of country, fervent patriotism has long been a tool for convincing the general public to accept and support questionable moves. It's intentionally used to garner a feeling of we're all in this together against a common enemy. And if there was any question of the partisan nature of the planning for the 250th, this week, the America 250 Facebook page posted, "America is in mourning. God bless Charlie Kirk," with an American flag emoji. And other preparations in Washington, D.C. are happening as well. Recently, we watched as the president began purging the Smithsonian museums of cultural history and then moved federal troops into the city, destroying encampments for people without homes, taking over Union Station, removing art that told nuanced stories of life in the United States, all under the lie of protecting citizens from the so-called violence rampant in the city. Can we take a breath together? I grew up in Maryland. I commuted to DC for work when I was young. I traveled on the metro with friends in high school to attend concerts. I took out-of-towners to our beautiful museums. The framing of the reality in this city is reality of this city is false, and it is a grab for power and control and image. We don't know for certain what the July 4th holiday will bring. But with all that we've seen and all that we know, it wouldn't surprise me if July 4th, 2026 becomes a well-rehearsed caricature of patriotism, with the US president celebrating independence by putting the proverbial crown on his head, empowered by loyalists, emboldened to pursue full autonomy to do whatever they want in a whitewashed DC Capitol. It was everything I could do Wednesday to stop myself from rewriting my entire sermon to respond to the events this week. Each and every day, sometimes hour by hour, there are shocking new developments that feel like they need us to respond. We know that this is part of the administration's strategy. Steve Bannon literally bragged about how easy it would be to overwhelm liberals and the media with an onslaught of initiatives. Flooding the zone is what he called it. And it works. We're so well trained now that I was spinning with reactivity this week. It's as if every moment is filled with something new that goes against so many of our values, and it feels too big to tackle. It now feels normalized to see politicians lying with abandon, making up facts, rewriting history, making it harder to vote and participate in democracy. We're seeing the censoring of theaters, labeling art as objectionable, banning books. And of course, then there is the truly horrific. Our Supreme Court greenlighting racial and gender profiling, rounding human beings up and sending them out of the country, rolling back environmental regulations and a willingness to place profit over the health of the planet, rewarding loyalty and demonizing all else, naming the other and erasing the presence of whoever is other at any given moment. The intentional overwhelm is working. It is exhausting and it is heartbreaking. And I find myself yearning to take back even some small semblance of power, to feel grounded in integrity, and to feel proactive rather than constantly reactive. Since being hired as your minister just a little over a month ago, I have worked hard through small groups and one-on-one conversations to listen deeply to what is on your heart and to hear the dreams that you have for this congregation. And the most common thread that I have heard so far is this: what are we doing? What can this congregation do when faced with the reality of the world that we are living in? In some ways, everything we're already doing is what we do in a time of authoritarianism. We are facing injustice, we are caring for each other, we are making our voices heard. But you all wouldn't be asking the question of what we do if it felt like everything we're already doing was enough or was satisfying. Nathan, our director of congregational life, and I have been calling this period in this country the time of collapse, when the structures we have counted on, imperfect as they were, and the systems that have felt familiar and stable, and the ethics we thought were shared truths are crumbling around us. And in a time of collapse, how do we practice Unitarian Universalism together? How do we center love together, be faithful together? What does it look like to covenant through collapse? I've been fascinated with the planning for the 4th of July because it feels like a moment in time in the future when we can see what might happen. At one level, it'll be just one silly, zealous show of patriotism. But when I think about it, I don't know about you all, when I think about it, I can almost feel what it will feel like in my bones. A day that is going to celebrate everything that I am grieving about in our country. And I want us to do everything we can do to change that trajectory. And since it's in the future, it feels like we have time to be proactive rather than only reactive. If we assume that the 4th of July will be a staged, false, patriotic, crowning moment for Trump, what might we do to rewrite the story in advance? 10 months. In 10 months, what can we have done as a congregation to feel like we are proactively writing our story of who we want to be in these times? So when this holiday rolls around, no matter what happens, we can celebrate the empowered role that we have been playing. So I have a suggestion. I suggest that between now and July 4th, as a congregation, we commit ourselves to an effort to explore and experiment and practice this question together. What does it look like for us to covenant through collapse? What are Unitarian Universalists called to do in these times? And in particular, Who is the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northern Nevada called to be in our local community? Over the next 10 months, Nathan and I and other leaders will be providing opportunities for each of us to hold up a lens, if you will, of collapse, a lens of collapse, as we do the work that we're already doing in this congregation. Imagine putting on these glasses. For instance, rather than simply restarting a care team, as has been recommended, what does care look like in a time of collapse? I don't know the answers, but the invitation is for us to experiment together. Maybe with this lens, a new care team doesn't look necessarily like a care team. Maybe it looks like us doing mutual aid within and beyond our congregation's walls. As we experiment, we can look to the past for similar times of authoritarianism. Some of the learnings from those times are similar to what we're already doing, but we might find ways to do everything with even more intention and collaboration. Historians tell us to practice choose and refuse. What will we choose to do with intention, and what will we refuse to do? In times of authoritarianism, subtle non-compliance is a powerful tool. So where might we as a congregation find power? In our collective refusal. Choose, refuse, and I might add shift. Where will we shift our energies? Are there things that we have done in the past, that still feel important, but might not be the highest priority for us right now when we are covenanting through collapse? What will we choose? What will we refuse? What will we shift and maybe put aside temporarily? Historians suggest building up economic supports for what's coming, both personally and communally. They encourage archiving the truth and telling real stories. And one of my favorite pieces of advice from historians, start a sabotage club. But they say, don't call it that. Instead, make it a ladies' knitting circle, or a D&D society, or a book club, or a bike club, whatever. They say sabotage is making a world you actually want to live in, despite the opposition. So where can we experiment here at UUFNN? For example, what is the role of a library in a time of collapse? We have a library. What is its role now? Maybe we'll lean into libraries as places of resistance and truth-telling. What does our justice work look like in the time of collapse? What does our Sunday service look like in a time of collapse? And based on our answers to those questions, we are going to experiment and reflect and experiment again over these next 10 months. Perhaps we will feed each other more often. Maybe we'll create spaces for the community to pick up banned books for free. Maybe we'll create a rapid response team. One of you, has already suggested bringing a pastoral care team out into local parks, offering to listen to people's stories of grief and fear and hopelessness. Sure, the 4th of July, 2026 is an arbitrary, symbolic day. But I suggest that we use it to be proactive. And we're going to start today. After the service today and on 2nd and 4th Sundays going forward, we will be offering you questions to explore the themes that we discuss. And if you feel excited, we invite you to go out, grab your coffee or your tea and your snacks, and come back into this room or stay online, and we will engage in dialogue and discussion together. We're calling these informal sessions, What Now? And we're not going to be facilitating anything. This is for your opportunity to come together as a community and engage in dialogue and get creative and imaginative and play with each other. And because we're not facilitating, we're not going to take notes, but you might get really excited about something you've shared, and we're going to have paper for you to write those notes down so we can collect them. This is the way that we are creating the future in a proactive sort of way together. What now? Join us after the service today. And during these conversations, I want you to connect with people that you don't know for these conversations. This is a way of being the resistance. Connect with people you don't know or that you don't usually talk to. It's actually one of the most common things I've heard in this congregation, besides what are we doing right now, is that we're too cliquey. We don't talk to each other. So go find someone you don't know after the service today. For those of you who do not want to participate in talking about fascism and the way that we are covenanting through collapse, stay out there and be social. I want you to take care of your hearts in these days, and you do what is important for you and for your own well-being right now. Nathan and I will also be engaging our committees and our teams more directly as this work unfolds. And we invite each of you individually and together, when you're hanging out together, to be creative and imaginative and joyful as we practice and experiment and play together. And then on July 3rd, I hope you will save the date. The night before whatever is going to happen on the 4th of July, on whatever this anniversary of the independence of our country is going to be, I want you to join us here. We're going to have a celebration together. We're going to celebrate all of what we've done. We're going to reflect on our experiments. We're going to buoy our spirits, and we are going to joyfully honor the role that we are playing in creating change. Perhaps the most important piece of historic advice that I have heard repeatedly is this: hold fast to your integrity. Hold fast to your integrity. Historians say, make sure that you can recognize yourself in the mirror when this is all over. I don't know what the answers are that we are going to discover together, but I know that when we are committing to one another and moving in shared directions and centering love, that together we are going to find our plan. And in the future, we will be able to name to the ancestors of this congregation the role that UUFNN played in the time of collapse. As we commit to showing up with truth-telling and compassion and empathy and dignity and courage and integrity, centering love in all things, we will keep ourselves true to the collective core of our shared values. And on Independence Day, let us be able to recognize ourselves in the mirror. And let us already be living into the plan for our future together. May it really, truly, and joyfully be so. Will you find a way of centering your body or just getting comfortable in a way for a time of prayer and meditation? I know that sometimes I just need those moments to breathe in a day. This week was heavy in what has already been many, many weeks of heaviness. This week, we witnessed multiple acts of physical violence. There were so many that some almost didn't even make the news. As we prepare ourselves for the coming months, it's going to be necessary for us to do multiple things at once. We'll need to be able to pay deep attention to what is happening. And to not let things like another act of violence feel routine or get lost. We will need to make space to mourn the lives and to grieve what led someone to make such a choice. To offer our sadness to the people who will have a forever memory engraved in their still forming brains. To make space to remember the terror of loved ones as they feared the worst. And at the same time, we need to keep our hearts steady. Our souls, or our core, or whatever you call your essence. We have to practice letting it be open and loving and kind. As we hold each other and the world today, may we all have the strength to hold love through our grief and our rage. May we have the courage to envision and create a new world completely different than the one that brought us here. A world that is vibrant and loving, and where we are all living within our full integrity. May we remember that we are each holy and whole. And I invite you to just take a few moments of stillness. Bring to heart all that is on your mind and your heart and your soul today. And know that we are holding all of it in our collective. May all of our prayers, all of our hopes, all of our dreams for a loving world be realized someday. Amen. Blessed be.
As we approach the time for our offering, give what you will for the church that has meant so much to you, for the church that meant so much for those that came before you, and for the church that will mean so much for the people that you will never know. Give what you will because you're a generous people. For those of you that are physically here in the sanctuary, we will be passing the basket. For those of you that are on Zoom, you can do your offering virtually by following the steps on the slide. Here at UUFNN, we have each month, we give the opportunity to share our generosity by sharing with a designated nonprofit organization. The share the pay recipient for the months of September is Community Cats. Community Cats advocates for animals' welfare and partners with organizations to provide access to quality spay and neuter services in our local area. In 2022, the organization helped 332 cats and kittens, and while so far in 2025, along with a grassroots group, has helped over 2,000 cats and kittens. Community Cats offers resources, support, and information to assist those who care for these oft-neglected animals. Plus, the Spay It Forward program funds spay and neutral health care for friendly dogs and cats. The emergency pet food pantry helps those who are struggling to feed animals they care for. Community Cats is a volunteer local organization founded in 1999 and has been a 501c3. No donations are used for salaries, just for supplies and clinic service. No kill starts with TNR. Thank you for your generosity. Now let the offering begin. Could you all now help Lois and I bless our offerings for the work of this fellowship? which is to let more people grow in love, faith, justice, and joy. We dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings. And now announcements. We have a few. So there is going to be a little change in announcements from now on. So I am going to start with Deborah on the ark.
Hi, my name is Deborah Graham, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. And I want to take a moment to talk about the ARC group. And ARC, you might say, what does that stand for? It's the Anti-Racist Culture. And I'm wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt because when we think of anti-racism, I think most of us think of Black lives. But actually in our culture, anyone who is not visibly white suffers from anti-racism. And this club had, over the last 5 years, has read 20 books on subjects of anti-racism. We're going to be starting a discussion of this book, Asian American Histories of the United States. And it's, you know, when you think of, I grew up in the Bay Area, and for me, the Asian culture of that area was Chinese and in some cases Japanese. But it really includes all of the different races, and they each have their own specific cultures, and they each suffer from anti-racism. And so I highly recommend joining the group. And all of the books are interesting. All of them are available to read. But one of the things that you get from a discussion group is the added enhancement of the opinions of the other people in the group, which you can't get just from reading the book. We will be starting the discussion in a week from this Wednesday on September 24th. And I think for me, the richest part of what I have received and gained from belonging to this group was learning what I didn't know. And sometimes that's the most important thing to learn. So I hope you'll join us and think about reading the book. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. And Chris?
Thank you, Zio. Morning, everybody. Since I was brought up here last Sunday on somewhat short notice, I'm not even sure what I said. So I've been told that I can speak as long as I like this morning. Okay, that might be an exaggeration. I wanted to give you a quick update on what our building use committee has been up to and where we are looking to go from here. Stage one of our strategy to open our buildings and grounds to greater use by our community is complete. With the help of many of you, we've reorganized and cleaned up our buildings, added art, brightened things up, replaced our rug up here, done a number of things to make our space more welcoming, both for ourselves and for guests and renters. We're also making progress on stage two, which is to hire a part-time commission-based events and rental coordinator who will promote UUFNN as a destination for events. We are going to interview 3 of the most promising candidates this week, and so we hope to move forward on that. Our vision is to open our campus to more community members, more groups to hold fundraisers, rallies, meetings, to more families to hold weddings, christenings, birthdays, celebrations of life, and to business organizations to hold meetings and events. If we accomplish these goals, it will mean more members of our community will know who we are. They will know of UUFNN. Many more of them will have spent time here in our space. It will mean that more nonprofit organizations will have a place that they can afford to hold meetings and events. And it will mean that UUFNN will earn income to support our social justice work and our budget as a whole. We have one third stage of work that we need to complete in order to be ready to move forward on this vision. And that is to have a group of at least a dozen event monitors. We have 8 folks who have volunteered so far, and I want to thank them. Gaia Brown, Kathleen Burton, and Wally Lewis, Marcy Camp, Deborah Graham, Jeff Harper, who's here behind me, Pete Peterson, Philip Duplessis, and Forrest Goggin. As I said, we'd like to start with 12 event monitors so the work is spread out. Event monitors will attend large events, particularly those of outside groups that are renting our space. They'll help the renter find things, accomplish things, show them where things are. They'll make sure they follow our rules. They'll make sure that when the event is done, place is cleaned up, garbage and recycling are taken out, and email a very brief report to our events and rentals coordinator so that the group can get its deposit back. And in the unlikely event of an emergency, call 911, get everybody out of the buildings, and contact our designated safety representative from our safety committee. Event monitors will receive 5 hours of training. Most of that's going to be on short videos covering each component of the training. So you won't have to watch them all at once, and you won't have to schedule 5 hours to be here to receive all that information. Event monitors will also be paid $20 an hour. That'll be part of the rental fee. Not all of us may want that, but it will be there for any of us who do. It won't make you rich, but it'll provide a little bit and it will recognize the work that you are doing as event monitors. You will make a big contribution to UUFNN with your time. And if you're interested in being an event monitor, or if you have any questions, or you want to know more, you can email the committee at buc@uufnn.org, or you can talk to any of our members, myself, Jeff Harper, Julie Solaria, I see out here, Bobby or Sean Ma, and Andrea Caldwell. Thank you very much for your time.
And I think we have Billy. She needs to talk about something about wearing a hat. I don't know.
Hi, y'all. I'm Billy Lee. She, her, hers. Since Chris took all of my time, I'm going to be brief. I'll deal with you later. I'm just here to remind you it's time, if you haven't done it, to sign up to come to the Great Chili Cook-Off on October 11th. And time, especially if you haven't done it, to sign up to volunteer. You can cook, you can bring food, you can come and help us set up, you can stay and help us clean up, you can do all of the above. But this is going to be a great event. We don't want you to miss it. And it's going to take a lot of hands to make it come off as well as we want it to. So y'all sign up, jump in and help, and we'll see you on the 11th. We might even have a chili hat for you to wear. Thank you.
And I think our last announcement is Rosalinda.
Thanks, Sue. I'm Rosalind Bedell, or Rosalinda. I like that. No, it's good. I like it. She, her, hers. And I think you probably all know why I'm here. Once again, talking about the social justice movie. It's in your program, and it's this Friday, coming up this week. So please come if you can. We're going to be watching the movie Buy Now, The Shopping Conspiracy. It's about buying stuff, being persuaded or even tricked into buying stuff you don't really want. And we're going to have a discussion afterwards what to do with the stuff too. So there's going to be plenty of time for Q&A and discussion. So it should be a good evening. There's going to be food and beverages. So please come if you can. This Friday, September 19th, 5:30 in the Star King room. Thank you.
Thank you all for sharing those activities with us, and let's get active.
Okay. You might have noticed that we are a really busy congregation. Yay! And we have so many announcements. This is not because of Chris. We consistently have a plethora of opportunities for connecting with this community, which is awesome. And that means that there are often many, many, many people throughout the week that are trying to get the word out about all of our various opportunities. This is all good. And in the coming weeks, we are going to try to experiment a little bit with some new ways of making sure that everyone feels connected to the opportunities that we have available. Okay, so here's what we're going to try. First, we're going to try to stick to the Wednesday at noon deadline for getting your announcements in. This includes for the order of service, for the slideshow that happens before the service, for the e-news, for the verbal announcements, and for social media. There's 5 different ways to get your information out. Wednesday at noon is the deadline for all of them. If you can help us with that, it'll be so great. Thank you. The second, we are really excited to share that we have a new form for sharing your announcements. One of the problems that happens is we get like a paper note from somebody, and we get a verbal note from somebody, and we get an email from someone, and the information is everywhere and it's not all in one place. So Nathan has created a beautiful form for us. You can find a link to the QR code in your order of service. Those of you on Zoom, you're getting a link in the chat, and you can also find a chat in the e-news. And it's always the same link, correct? Always the same link. So if you are trying to submit an announcement to us by Wednesdays at noon, you can use that link. We're very hopeful that that's just going to help us keep all the information in one place so we don't lose any of the important things. I think that's all. I think the last part is here. We're going to be experimenting with this. It is not the final. We would love to have your feedback in very loving ways, please. And we'll see how it goes.
So we do have our new hymnal that's digital that has launched. And so we're going to be singing a song from that, and it's called Hold Fast to Love. The lyrics will be up on the screen, so please rise in body or spirit and join us.
Will you connect with each other in ways that feel loving, supportive, and ways that help you get through the rest of your week as we leave this place? And we're leaving today with the words of one of my favorite offerings. This is Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone.